Well, what defines blackness? Well, one show has tried to get different media personalities' take on what defines blackness for them. Black Conversations is a 4-part series on Mzansi Magic that hopes to create conversations that will positively impact the understanding of Africans and further eradicate misconceptions around blackness. The show itself features media personalities such as Dineo Ranaka, Mphela, Musa, Mseleku and Gogo Skhoteni, to name a few. We're joined by one of the featured personalities, actress and TV host Tembisa Mdoda-Nxumalo, as well as integrated creative director at Joe Public Tshepo Tumahole. A warm welcome to both our guests, and thank you so much for joining us on our platform this morning. It seems that we're struggling to get a hold of our guests. We're going to try and establish that reconnection and bring you that all-important conversation. We have our guests with us. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's platform. Tembisa, let me start with you. As the host of Black Conversations, I mean, when you got the call to essentially help navigate these conversations, I mean, what was your first thought?
I think my first thought was, what does blackness mean to me? Because for something like this to actually happen, it has to resonate with everybody that's part of it. So I had to ask myself, what does blackness mean to me? And what is blackness to me? And I think some of those questions were a bit of a blur because, you know, we cross those lines when we're doing the work that we do, or like we're living in the suburbs or whatever. So then I thought to myself, I need to be part of this conversation because I need to hear what other people think blackness is to them and how they've navigated it and their experiences. So as soon as they said to me a conversation, I was very happy because, you know, sometimes I like to talk. And also it would mean that I learned a lot. So I was like, I'm in. I wouldn't even think twice. Just count me in.
Right. Well, we have a small snippet of the trailer itself, and I'd like to take this opportunity to show our viewers what they can expect from the 4-part series. Let's take a look.
This discussion over being cancelled because I was caught on camera in talking about that debate.
Cancel culture is the new age mob. People never thought that they could take down celebrities.
I felt like a coward, but I didn't take my life.
And I'm saying this as a dark-skinned black fat woman. So what's that to say? Discrimination.
That one tweet destroyed my career within 72 hours.
Black Conversations starts Thursday, 20 October at 9:30 on Mzansi Magic.
Well, that's a snippet of the trailer there. Tshepo, I'd like to bring you into the conversation. I mean, it seems that in terms of topics, I mean, there's a range of topics that are going to be discussed, including cancel culture, issues around colorism. What went into deciding what exactly these conversations are going to be looking into, or at least trying to delve into by these media personalities?
So, I mean, as you mentioned, there's so many different factors that come with us, Black people, you know. So for us, we needed to find those leading conversations that can actually unlock other conversations within Black. So what we did is that we found 4 pillars that can actually unpack other things. I mean, things like cancel culture go beyond just cancel culture. You know, it goes to how we use platforms. It goes to how we are embracing technology now as people. Now that we can express ourselves, what the responsibility that comes with that. So what we did is that we decided on 4 pillars that we'll touch on, and then all of them will be unpacked by our different panel so that we can at least touch on several subject matters. So that's the thinking behind why we chose the particular topics that we decided on.
Well, Tembisa, you are no stranger to hosting shows and also just like tackling very difficult conversational topics. What are your hopes going into Black Conversations and what viewers are likely to get out of the experience? I mean, because you'll largely be charged with, you know, directing a lot of these conversations so that at the end of the day it is a meaningful engagement and a meaningful experience for those who are on the other end receiving what's playing out.
Madam, the pressure. No, I think firstly what we need to understand is that this is a forum where people sit and they just have a conversation. The nice thing is that these are personal takes on a global matter, which means that, you know, we can't fault someone for having experienced blackness in a certain way. We can only learn from it. what I'm hoping we get out of this is that we start a global conversation. That's the rolling stone that gathers moss in the sense that they listen to this conversation and then it starts another conversation that spurs another conversation, and that actually leads to everybody realizing that you need to savor who you are. You need to savor your blackness, and you need to allow conversations like these to happen and not fear them. So I really want people to have conversations without fearing any sort of repercussions, because we've come to a point where opinions now need to be dissected and people need to be insulted for their opinions, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think if we open up this floodgate of conversation habits, we will be able to change a lot of things in our society. So that's really what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, the ability to be able to speak your mind without fear of having some sort of repercussions is so important and is key to cultivating that openness. But Tshepo, I do worry that, there are a number of media personalities that are taking part in the black conversations. Are you at all concerned about criticism in going in that direction? Issues of blackness and what defines blackness shouldn't be conscripted to media personalities. These are, experiences, as Tembisa has said, that are global. Why not try and go for the ordinary Joe?
So I think the thought process and the premise behind this idea was that we want people to speak about citizens, but then obviously we needed to get people who didn't just like media personalities, because people are thought leaders, opinion leaders in their own lives, and people who can actually touch on the subject from a personal point of view. Because this show, I don't think it has anything to do with celebrity faces or media personalities, etc., but it's about embracing blackness. And what we did is that after each and every episode, we have a Twitter space with Mphela. So then we open it up to the rest of the public to hear their own opinions. So the format of the show and the idea behind the show was to never limit it to just a particular group of people, but to actually open it up to the public to comment and actually talk about what blackness is today.
All right. Well, I want to thank both our guests for joining us and helping us to have this conversation around black conversations. And, of course, that 4-part series already underway. That was actress and TV host Tembisa Mdoda-Nxumalo and integrated creative director at Joe Public Tshepo Tumahole.